Hey there, fellas. You're watching the Garage 54 YouTube channel, and I'm your host, Vlad. Okay, guys, here's the plan for today. Today we'll be torturing this automobile. Replacing motor oil with gasoline. Translation and voiceover by BMI Russian. Alright, guys. Here's what we'll be doing today. We've got ourselves a nice little car here. So why did we choose a Toyota? Without going into why we chose a Corolla. I went through the comments and people have been getting angry about us constantly torturing Ladas. And at some point I met a guy who has a bunch of these old import cars. He literally has everything. So I've decided to buy a Toyota. To keep you people happy, here's what I have in mind. As you've probably guessed, the engine in here is far from new. The compression is quite low, and the exhaust gases easily bypass the piston rings. A bunch of you guys suggested that we try a certain thing. I've actually heard about this myself, but that was quite a long time ago. Anyway, the point is that there have been cases of gasket failure on fuel pumps. I'm talking about those occurrences when the membrane goes bad, which in turn leads to gasoline leaking into the crankcase. And while the engine is running, you have exhaust gases blowing by the piston rings. At some point, you might even get a spark. As you might have guessed, since the motor oil is mixed with gas, this sort of situation should lead to the engine either catching fire, or even exploding maybe. In any case, in today's episode, that's exactly what I want to find out. Time to call in a flatbed and get to where we're going. Alright fellas, we've carefully made it to our spot. We had a bit of fun on the way here, but that's something for a different video. Right now we're gonna... As you can see, we've prepared a canister with some gasoline. There has to be at least a little bit of oil in there for the gas to contaminate. So I'm not gonna be draining it from the motor. Although I'd like to point out that there isn't much to... There's maybe about 700 to 800 grams of motor oil in this engine. Maybe even a full liter if I'm being generous. So there you go. It's no more than that for sure. Now I get to pouring some gas into the motor. And pretending as if it got there on its own. In some mysterious way. To repeat what I've already said, sometimes the fuel pump membrane on the older carbureted cars would fail, leading to the engine being filled with gasoline. The modern direct injection gas engines also have a weird spot on the high pressure fuel pump. I do remember what it looks like, but I can't remember the name of the part. Anyway, when the gasket goes bad, it basically starts doing the same thing, and leaks gas into the crankcase. Specifically into the oil. I've actually seen a bunch of people come in with a high oil level, and that turned out to be gas. Maybe there wasn't enough in there for it to be a problem. But that's what we're here to find out. I suggest we pour it in, start the motor, and see what happens. Let's do this. Let me just unscrew the cap first. Now we take the gasoline and pour it right in. Take a look at those fumes. It's actually these fumes which should combust from the cylinders. Now we close the cap. Or maybe I should just leave it off. Nah, it's best to have it capped. I mean, nobody's gonna drive around without a cap, right? Alright, we are ready to go. Let's try starting the car, shall we? Alright, fellas, we're ready to give this a try. We are looking good. Let me just fire up the motor. Oh, come on. There we go. The car is running. That's good. Oh, please don't stall. And it stalled. Damn it. What is up with this thing? So we poured in some gas and you're done? This Japanese machine doesn't want to run on oil mixed with gasoline. Nope. This thing ain't starting. Maybe the fumes are a bit too much. I see. Here's what we're looking at. After we poured in some gas, the level on the dipstick went up by a lot. At first the motor started, but after that, it simply refused to run. You can hear a bit of coughing, but it doesn't want to go anywhere from there. Maybe it's down to there being an excessive amount of gasoline fumes in the crankcase, with them somehow getting into the cylinders, but I doubt that. Here's what I think. I reckon the gas removed any oil from the cylinder walls, which led to compression getting even worse. I mean, this motor does cough and make the exact same noises as if it was flooded with gasoline. You all know how it goes down in the winter when you can't get your motor to start for a long time. That of course results in wet spark plugs and oil being washed from the cylinder walls, which gives you horrible compression. To fire up an engine with this sort of compression is pretty much impossible. Okay, we have to think of something here. The engine isn't dead yet, and we did make a deal that today this engine will meet its demise. Right now I'm actually thinking about all of your suggestions, and I've just remembered a really fun one. A lot of you requested we... What now? You guessed it. We'll be throwing a firecracker into the engine. I'll get to that in just a second. I've actually found a few interesting firecrackers, which explode not when you expose them to open flame, but when you give them an impulse. Let me just get them in there, and we'll try igniting them while they're in the motor. Let's do this. Okay guys, here's what we're looking at. I've stuffed the firecrackers in as deep as I could, plus I've ran a few wires to them. Just so that... to assure 100% that we see something happen. We've got a bunch of fumes in there, and down here I'm running a wire. There it goes, and here we have a power outlet. We've already plugged everything in, but nothing seems to be happening. Let's go see what's up over there. Wusses. Oh right, we have a battery over here. Let's give it a try. Come on, let's go. That's it? That's it. What were you expecting? That you'd see a big explosion? How does that even work? There's no oxygen in there. We do have fumes, but how are they gonna burn? Oh, they both detonated. Both of them exploded. Alright guys, so here's what's up. As you can see, it isn't enough to just put some gas into your engine. Firecrackers themselves just kind of went off in there, but nothing happened, as in we didn't get any combustion. I'm guessing that's due to there not being any oxygen. As you know, things usually don't go smoothly for us. Something always has to go wrong. And then we remembered something. I recall the news reporting once that Japan had a massive snowstorm, when everything froze up and this one lady started a fire underneath her car. For a while she couldn't figure out why her car had burned down. As you can see, I've brought over firewood and some other material. I'll be using all of this to make a fire. And we're just gonna look on as it burns underneath the car. It's the least we can do. Alright, let's do this. Okay, I've placed the firewood underneath, and I've soaked this glove in some gasoline, which I'm gonna use to light the fire. Let's see where this goes. Maybe I should pour some diesel fuel into the motor. Nothing's gonna happen anyway. These Japanese cars, man. Alright fellas, at least we got somewhere with this. Check out what we got here. And why was that Japanese woman surprised? As to why her car burned down. Beats me. Anyway, you should never warm up your engine with a fire. That could lead to something like this happening. We couldn't get the engine to explode, or to burn up from the inside, but at least this worked. Alright, time to wrap this one up, fellas. Watch our videos, leave some comments and suggestions, subscribe to our channel. Alright, see you later. The fucking window's open.